Hey, Joy Blue here, and today what I want to talk about is the SQL INTO statement. Now, you'll run into the INTO statement when you're doing like insert into, select, or select into, and really what I want to talk about is copying data from one table to another. So let's get started here, and the first thing I want to do is select out of our employee table. Let me run that. And so we have 14 rows in here, and I want to copy this table. So maybe I have to do some development, some testing, and I just want to copy it with all the data. So the easiest way to do that is with select star into, and you put this little into clause in here, and you say the table name you want it to be, employee test. Right, so I want to select everything from the employee table into the employee test table. So let's run that and see what happens. It says 14 rows were affected. So what really happened there? Well, let's take a quick look. Select star from employee test. And you can see that now we have employee test table. And if I look over here in the Object Explorer, I now have an employee test table there too. And all the data types are the same. So now the next thing that I want to talk about is, if you have an existing table, you can do what's called insert into select. And so if I empty this table, so if I just basically say delete from employee test, and I delete all 14 records, and we can verify that here. It's empty now. So if I already have a table and I simply want to move data from the employee table into the employee test table, I would use the insert statement. And so I would say insert into employee test, and then I can do a select star from employee. Now the question is, will this work? So let's try it. And it worked. And so the reason I asked the question of whether or not it worked, because I didn't specify the column names. Now the reason it worked is because they have the exact same columns. If they didn't have the exact same columns, then I would have to say insert into employee test, and I would have to list column 1, column 2, column 3, or whatever. But since it did work, because we have all the same columns. Now there's a little trick I want to show you. So let's take this a step further. And what I want to do is start back at the beginning. And I want to drop the table, the employee test table. And so the employee test table is gone. Let's verify that. So employee test table is gone now. So what I want to do is, sometimes you may have big tables and you don't want to necessarily bring all the data with the table, but maybe there's 100 columns and you don't want to type all those columns, but you want the table out there, with just empty, but with just the schema. So what you can do in that case is basically the same thing we did before, into employee test. But what you can do is say where 1 equals 2. And so 1 will never equal 2, and we'll just get the schema. So let's run that. No rows were affected, but something happened. Let's check this out. We got an empty table, and if we look over here, let me refresh this. It has all the columns in the same data types that the other table had. So it made a copy of the table without the data. And so that's really the select into statement. And as always, if you find this helpful, please leave a comment below, click the like button, or subscribe to my channel. You can also visit me at SQLtrainingonline.com, and I hope you enjoyed this free video.